From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, Court of Appeal discharges IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. Former INEC chairman optimistic on credible elections supports use of BVAS. Court strikes out suit against former governor of Jigawa State. Away from Nigeria, Iraqi parliament elects Abdul Latif Rashid as new president. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ila. Thank you for joining. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja on Thursday upheld the appeal of the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The court also discharged and acquitted the embattled leader of the proscribed group. Kanu's lawyer and human rights activist Ifeanyi Ejiofor confirmed this on his Facebook page on Thursday. Kanu had, in his appeal dated April 29, applied to be discharged and acquitted. Kanu was first arraigned on December 23, 2015 and was later granted bail on April 25, 2017. A federal high court sitting in Dutse, Jigawa State on Thursday struck out a 8.6 billion naira corruption case leveled against the former governor of Jigawa State, Saminu Turaki, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The trial judge, Hassan Diko, struck out the case and discharged the defendant for lack of diligent prosecution by the EFCC. Turaki governed Jigawa State between 1999 and 2007. The Prosecution Council, the EFCC, was absent during Thursday's sitting, prompting Defense Counsel to plead with the court to strike out the case against the first defendant, arguing that the day's sitting was the sixth adjournment since this case was brought before the court and there was no cogent reasoning given to the court by the prosecutor, EFCC, for non-appearance. The Defense Counsel pleaded with the court to strike out the charge. Justice Diko struck out the case and discharged the first defendant, Turaki. He also ordered the EFCC to release travel documents of the defendant. Now, former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Attahiru Jega, says that electoral umpire is properly positioned to deliver credible elections next year. This, he says, is because of the Electoral Act 2022, which has empowered the Commission to use technology in the conduct of the election. He hoped that the conduct of some politicians in the run-up to the elections will not impact negatively on the elections, as they had shown that they are not mature enough. Reacting to speculations that there were moves to remove the INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, Professor Jega said that he regarded them as rumors.
The conduct of some politicians and their followers in the run-up to the 2023 elections is of grave concern to many political observers. Former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Attahiru Jega, is one of those who believes that politicians have not learned their lessons, and their postures and language is showing off a lot of desperation. But he is confident that the Electoral Act 2022 has empowered the electoral umpire to conduct polls that will be largely credible.
The Electoral Act 2022, to my mind, is the best electoral legal framework that we have ever had in this country. It creates a better environment for the INEC and also for political parties and candidates for the oncoming elections.
One of the things the professor of political sciences is thrilled about is the deployment of technology for the elections, especially the bimodal voters accreditation system, BVAS.
From what I know about the BVAS, frankly, it is a remarkable improvement over the card reader which we used in 2014. And they have tested it very well, and in all the tests that have occurred, clearly it's going to be a remarkable improvement, add value to the elections. So as far as I'm concerned, all INEC needs to do now is to keep on training and retraining of those who are going to operate the machine on election day.
Reacting to speculations that there are moves to remove INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu, Professor Jega said he regards those speculations as rumors.
Any rumor needs to be investigated. So maybe the Nigerian security agencies need to investigate these rumors. If those who are peddling it, are doing it without fact or basis, they should be arrested and penalized. On the other hand, if the rumors are correct, then something needs to be done. But I can tell you, even if there are people who are trying to remove the chairman, or to affect the elections by getting the beavers truncated, it is all dependent on how resolute INEC is.
With elections barely 5 months away, Professor Jega believes the time is ripe for the deployment of the electronic transmission of results. He is confident that elections next year will be the best conducted so far, if politicians will allow this to happen. From the Federal Capital, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Ahead of 2023 election, northern groups under the aegis of Arewa Joint Committee says it will not make the mistake of the past and support the emergence of leaders with no vision or plan for the development of the northern region. The group made the comment at a press briefing in Kaduna. Ahead of its planned engagement with presidential candidates of political parties, the committee said that it aims to assess candidates in order to ascertain leaders that have the capacity to address security and other socio-economic challenges confronting the country.
Ahead of its planned engagement with presidential candidates of political parties, the committee said its aim is to assess candidates in order to ascertain leaders that have the capacity to address security and other socio-economic challenges confronting the country.
Given the state of the North, particularly in terms of its security, economy, and infrastructure, preparation of its young to become responsible and productive adults, its relationship with the rest of Nigeria, the critical need for good, effective, and inspirational leadership, and possible changes in the structures and systems of governance to make them more effective, our need to exercise vigilance over who assumes responsibility over our security and progress.
The committee also said there is need for a change in structures and system of governance in Nigeria, which requires vigilance over those who will assume responsibility of leadership in the country.
These engagements have become necessary to avoid mistakes of the past, when leaders emerge with no popular inputs into their plans and programs and with virtually no efforts to interrogate their capacities and vision if they become leaders.
These 6 groups have people from all parts of the North. And the fact that, as you heard in the speech, the fact that we're even collaborating is a tremendous evidence that the North is united. And we want to do everything together.
The Joint Committee comprised 6 notable northern groups, including the Northern Elders Forum, Arewa Consultative Forum, Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation, Jam'iyyar Matan Arewa, and Arewa House, among others. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
A faction of African Democratic Congress, ADC, has returned Ralph Nwosu as its national chairman at a special convention held in Zaria. Declaring the position, chairman of the Special Convention Committee, Abdulaziz Suleiman, said that other national officers whose tenure have expired were replaced with the election of new national officers by affirmation. The Special Convention held at Congo Conference Hotel in Zaria. Suleiman, who is also the Director General Campaign of the party, said that ADC has also ratified the expulsion of Dumebi Kachiku and his running mate Ahmed Buhari for being the presidential flag bearer and running mate respectively. He said that the removal include the party's Board of Trustees Chairman Patricia Akwashiki, National Vice Chairman North East some state chairmen and party executives. Suleiman, while giving reason for the expulsion of Kachikwu, explained that the candidate has no campaign manifesto since he was elected as presidential candidate and has also been working against the interest of the party with the aim to sell the ticket to one of the big political parties. State chairman of the party, however, are said to be in support of Dumebi Kachikwu.
We certify Mr. Dumebi Kachikwu, Ahmed Rufai, Senator Patricia Akwashiki, Ali Ibrahim Manzo, and other state chairmen listed here as expelled from the African Democratic Congress.
To make sure this election and the ADC will win and get well established and have proper funnel for funding. The moment a party will have proper funnel for funding, things become easy. But if you don't have proper funnel for funding, you know what will happen? If the founders abandon it, the party will be gone.
A former president of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, has expressed readiness of the People's Democratic Party to take back power both at the Kwara State level and at the national level in 2023. He stated this during a program to X-ray Kwara State, the Kwara State Dream. Here's the report.
The event was organized by the PDP support group to compare and contrast the achievement of the past PDP administration and the current APC government. The former Senate president, who is the lead speaker at the event, lamented on how those who took over from People's Democratic Party, both at the national and state levels, have disappointed the electorate.
The time has come that we, either the followers or the voters, we must look at who we are voting for. Today, we have seen the difference. I waited to talk last because I wanted to hear myself. To hear these so-called 16 years of PDP, where we had security, we had infrastructure. Today, I challenge them to tell us what they have done for these 3.5 years.
At a debate session organized for gubernatorial candidates in the states, both the candidates of the PDP and that of the Young Progressives Party promised to perform better than what was obtained.
This is the bane of our politics in Nigeria. Everybody comes out and says, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. We know how much comes to the state. People should be challenged. How much are you going to get from the federation account to do all these things? And I'm sure we all know that previous politicians have all come out to say, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do all that. At the end, they end up doing nothing.
Mediocre, we all know the term mediocre. What is the opposite of it? The opposite of mediocre is excellent. My life has been a life of striving for perfection, but trying to achieve excellence in everything I do. And that is the approach that I think we need at this juncture that Kwara State is in now. We need to bring excellence into governance.
However, the PDP governorship candidate said if elected, his major focus will be on wealth creation and empowerment. The debate provided opportunity for the governorship candidates to sell and present their manifestos as elections inch closer.
Staying with political matters, Kano State governorship candidate of New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, Abba Kabir, has challenged the state government to name the victims of killings and phone snatchings allegedly fomented by party members during the commissioning of its campaign office. Sunusi Bature Dawaking Tofa, the spokesperson to the gubernatorial candidate, stated this in a statement responding to the allegation made by the State Commissioner for Information, Muhammad Garba, that phone snatchers attended the official commissioning of NNPP campaign office in Kano. The statement said that NNPP had, prior to the event, duly notified all security agencies in the state, including the police, DSS, Civil Defense and Road Safety Corps. The agencies have equally deployed adequate personnel, including an area commandant and 6 divisional police officers who provided enough security during the ceremony. NNPP said Kano residents are aware of the several atrocities and unguarded statements of the state APC chairman, Abdullahi Abbas, who always instigates criminality against the opposition and members of the society through distribution of weapons to political thugs and promotion of hate speeches. Now, as the 2023 elections draw closer, a call has gone to presidential flag bearers to ensure that their political parties remain united to ensure that the right leaders emerge. The call follows disagreements between some presidential candidates and the leadership of their respective parties, especially as it concerns the constitution of campaign councils. Such divisions, the group noted, if not addressed, may swing protest votes to candidates that may not represent the desires of Nigerians come 2023.
Unfortunately, he was restricted from participating in the presidential primary election after purchasing the form with a fabricated kangaroo consensus of Mr. Peter Obi as forced by the party leadership on our principal, His Excellency Oluwadare Fajuri Joseph. We never knew that the chairman, Chief Julius Abure, in cohorts with some NEC members of the party, had sold the slot to the present candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, who brought in money to the party to hijack the party just 4 days to the primary election. The sales of presidential form that had been closed was reopened for Peter Obi without the professionalism under a kangaroo arrangement. The earlier arrangement was to hold the primaries in Abuja, but we were shocked to learn that the convention would now hold in Asaba. Oluwadare Joseph was forced to step down for Peter Obi under duress, with proof that will be released to the public when time comes. As a result of the aforementioned, we consider it necessary and timely to let the public, the Nigerian people, know the kind of personality and people they are dealing with, and to equally exercise to seek legal redress over gross injustice done to us by the same people who want to take over the affairs of the nation. This is important so that we don't fall from frying pan to fire. This is coming more than 5 months after the Asaba Convention. Up to now, Labour Party refuses to reach out to His Excellency Oluwadare Fajuri Joseph, nor compensate him of the over 500 million naira he spent on intent to nomination forms.
Now, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Nasarawa State has unveiled a 52-member campaign council ahead of the 2023 presidential election. The former Board of Trustees chairman of the party, Senator Walid Jibrin, is the chairman, while former All Progressives Grand Alliance gubernatorial candidate, Mr. Labaran Mako, is to serve as the Director General of the campaign. Umar Mohammed reports.
Others are former Deputy Governor of the state, Chief Michael Abdul, and Major General Nuhu Agbazu, retired, among other party stakeholders. While inaugurating members of the campaign committee council at the party secretariat in Lafia, the state chairman of the party, Mr. Francis Orogu, said that the party had what it takes to wrestle power from the ruling All Progressive Congress APC in the forthcoming general elections in the state. According to him, there are over 200 subcommittee members in addition to the main 52 campaign committee members.
We carefully constituted this committee, taking recognition of the capacity of every individual, and we believe that with the support of the leaders of this party, that all of you are aware, have one personality, have one profile or the other attached to them. I want to say it here clearly, that this is a PDP state. Yes. Nasarawa State is PDP state. Yes, sir. I repeat, Nasarawa State is PDP state.
Campaign. I express confidence that the governorship candidate, Mr. David Umbugadu, will emerge victorious. as governor in 2023. I stepped down from my former position as BOT chairman to allow peace to reign in the party and pave way for other party stakeholders who had never occupied my former position. Politics of ethnicity, religion, and tribalism is uncalled for. I urge you all to vote the party's presidential candidate, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, come 2023. Since PDP lost power, hunger and starvation began. Insecurity, unemployment, and non-payment of civil servants' salary became order of the day. Within 3 years, what the present administration in Nasarawa State could inaugurate was Motor Park, which was commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari. So there is no reason to return APC back to power in this state.
The chairman said the campaign committee members were carefully selected based on their wealth of experiences and their capacity, adding that with the support of the party leaders, the party would emerge victorious in the forthcoming general elections. He urged all party supporters to vote all the PDP candidates from the Senate, House of Representatives, members and State House of Assembly members in the forthcoming elections.
Youths in Osun State who are members of the All Progressives Congress on Thursday declared support for presidential candidate of the party, Bola Tinubu, and his running mate, Kashim Shettima. The state governor, Adeboyega Oyetola, while receiving the youths at campaign secretariat, said that Tinubu has capacity to solve Nigeria's problems. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade files in the report.
I can think out of the box all the time to fix problems. That is exactly the kind of person we need now to fix Nigeria. We cannot be experimenting. It's not the time to experiment. It's time to really solve the problems. We have problems. There's no doubt about it. Asiwaju is the best person to be able to handle that at this time. So I'm impressed with the turnout of the youth, and it's good that the youth are taking this as a challenge.
We came out today to show the entire world that we are fully behind Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is a critical period for us as a nation, and we cannot experiment. We cannot commit our future to leaders that cannot deliver. We have no choice than to rally support for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. We believe his leadership, and we believe that under his leadership, Nigeria will be prosperous.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at stigmatization that come with mental health. Details of this and more after the break.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Thanks for staying with us. This is the news update on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories again. Court of Appeal discharges IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. Plus, former INEC chairman optimistic on credible elections supports use of beavers. In other news, terrorists were said to have killed 2 people and abducted 18 during an attack on Gatakawa village in Kankara local government area of Katsina State on Thursday. The terrorists were also said to have rustled some domestic animals in the process. However, sources close to security operatives in Kankara told Trust TV's Abdullahi Ahmadi in Katsina that the 18 kidnapped victims have been rescued unhurt. Similarly, 5 operational motorcycles and 2 cows were also recovered from the terrorists who reportedly abandoned them and escaped with gunshot wounds following gun battle with the police. Residents of nearby villages said that many of the terrorists were neutralized during the encounter with the police. The newly posted commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) in Zamfara State, Muhammad Muazu, has assured that the command under his watch will work to bring an end to the menace of banditry through the gathering of credible intelligence, which is one of the keys to tackling the prevailing insecurity in the state. He gave the assurance during the handing and taking over ceremony at the NSCDC State Command in Gusau, the Zamfara State capital. The report.
The newly posted Zamfara NSCDC Commandant's Command, Muhammad Muazu, had served in 12 different formations of the Corps in the country with 17 years of experience in intelligence. He has taken over from outgoing Zamfara State Commandant Akushi Sparks, who served the state for over a year. Muazu charged officers and men of Corps to seek credible intelligence, which is critical in addressing the prevailing activities of bandits and their collaborators in Zamfara State.
I'm here in the state, like I said earlier, to contribute my best. My best will be determined by what is currently going on or what is being required of me by the state or by the Commandant General.
The outgoing Commandant Akushi Sparks, while thanking officers and men of the command for the support and cooperation accorded him during the period he served, urged them to give the same to the incoming commandant to succeed in protecting critical national assets and flushing out suspected criminals in the state. He also appreciated the synergy the command had enjoined with other sister agencies like the Nigerian Army, Department of State Services, DSS, the police, and the Nigerian Air Force, among others in the state.
Secondly, I want to say a very big thank you to all the division officers who in one way or the other have been working tirelessly to give us all the detailed report of region to furnish the state government on how to tamper this criminality and banditry in the state and also the other service chiefs.
The NSCDC's new commandant, who warned that he will not condone nor tolerate corruption from any of the personnel, advised those who may have such tendencies to desist forthwith or face the consequences if caught.
The Federal Capital Territory Police Command have arrested 1 suspect in connection to robbery attack at a pharmacy at Maitama District, Abuja, and also recovered a stolen Prado Jeep from the suspect. Daily Trust had reported that some 6 armed robbers who drove in a Mazda car had on Wednesday night struck at a pharmacy at Maitama District, killing 1 person and snatching a vehicle at gunpoint. Commissioner of Police in the FCT, CP Sunday Babaji, who disclosed this while parading the suspect at the command headquarters in Abuja on Thursday, said that the suspect was arrested after all-night pursuit and an aggressive manhunt of armed hoodlums. He said that it was consequent upon the distress call. The command immediately deployed several tactical and intelligence apparatuses at the command's disposal on an aggressive manhunt for the miscreants and the recovery of the stolen vehicle. According to him, after about 7 hours later, through painstaking effort of the command, which he said yielded results in recovering of the stolen Prado Jeep at Jabi Magajipi off EcoBank Junction, Jabi, Abuja. He said that the suspect, which he gave his name as Emmanuel Okoye, who is a resident of Jabi and a member of the criminal syndicate, was arrested. In a similar vein, suspected assailants have killed 3 operatives of the Anambra Vigilante Group, AVG, at Iboku in Agauta local government area of the state. Those killed include senior official of the group popularly called Shaba and 2 of his orderlies. Circumstances surrounding the incident were still sketchy, although there were reports that Shaba, the senior vigilante officer, was a member of the dreaded Ibubeagu security group, which has been terrorizing some communities in the southeast, particularly Imo and Ebonyi states. However, another source claimed that the killing was carried out by members of a kidnapping syndicate whose leader was busted by Shaba's team some days ago. The State Police Public Relations Officer, PPRO, Tochukwu Ikenga, who confirmed the incident, said a deliberate operation has been set in place to apprehend the attackers, adding that surveillance has been intensified in the area. Now, as Nigeria continues to experience rising unemployment, graduates and students are beginning to look for alternatives to government jobs, saying that they wouldn't waste their time waiting for salaried jobs. Although some of the graduates say that they wouldn't mind such white-collar jobs, they are, however, not ready to wait as the jobs are decreasing with every passing day. Ado Musa completes the story.
For many young Nigerians, the goal is to get a university education and thereafter secure a job with either the government or private sector. But the current reality, however, in the country is gradually changing the narrative among them. Many graduate and tertiary institution students say they have lost confidence in the possibility of ordinary Nigerians getting government jobs, as such jobs are now the exclusive reserve of those connected in one way or the other to the powers that be. To this end, they are looking at other options as against the earnest wait for white-collar jobs.
With how the situation of this country is moving, when I graduated, I didn't expect to graduate and wait for any government work, because I really appreciate God with the course I'm going for.
Concerning the school life, like after school now, like when I graduate, I will definitely look for something to do instead of waiting for government.
Before even graduation, I have studied the environment and have noticed that a lot of graduates, a lot of people who have graduated years before me have been sitting at home waiting for jobs.
Some graduates, however, advise graduates who are still waiting for government jobs to rethink and start up doing something before it is too late.
Government jobs are very, very scarce these days. If you continue waiting for government job, you will end up wasting your time, and in fact, you'll be a burden for yourself, for the community, and everybody.
With the ASU strike counting up to 7 months now, we don't know when they will call off. This alone should be a wake-up call to our students. Had it been you started learning a skill, for these 6 to 7 months you could have learned a lot.
Unemployment rate in Nigeria is estimated to have reached 33% in 2022, according to Statista. This figure was projected to be at 32.5% in the preceding year. Chronological data shows that the unemployment rate in Nigeria rose constantly in the past years, leaving job seekers with the option of venturing into entrepreneurship or staying idle for years. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
As prospective tenants go through extortion in the hands of house agents in Lagos, some residents narrated their ordeal on how these agents use their position as intermediaries to demand multiple levies in flagrant breach of the law. Trust TV's Abbas Ibrahim reports.
Lagos, being the commercial hub center of Nigeria, with large population, accommodation seekers are more vulnerable, and car prices of the estate agents For obvious reason, some of the residents lament how agents make life difficult for many renters in the state as they force them to pay almost 40 to 50% of rent fee as service charges, causing untold hardship. However, some of the estate agents said they did not determine cost of house rent, but the hike in price of building materials and the inflation rate in the country could be part of the problems.
Why the cost is too much in Lagos? Lagos is a business center where businesses are all over. People used to rush to occupy Lagos due to their businesses. That is why the rate of the house rent is very, very high.
Others attribute the high cost of house rent to the state and federal government policies.
By that time, they give everybody 3-bedroom flat, 15,000. If they pay installmental, if in some never finish, they give them both worker and individual. This time around, they don't. All the people in government they share for themselves. They are locating for themselves. They are sharing this, renting, giving rent out for people again. You give share for themselves instead to give allocating for individual, both workers. They stop that up. They share within themselves and begin rent it out for people again. That's where the thing come, inflation come on house rent in Lagos State.
I don't even blame the landlord, most of the landlord, because it is the government supposed to give consideration towards the land use charge, a high cost of their land use charge, 200,000, 100,000 per annum. Where is this landlord going to get such money to pay?
It is important to know that Lagos State government abolished 2-year rent and directed that landlords should collect maximum of 1-year rent, which was further brought down to 1 month. Yakubu Adam, a legal practitioner in Lagos, said that the Lagos State government is doing its best to curtail the issue of house rent, agent, tenant, and landlords.
Indeed, the relationship of tenant and landlord is a thing that is governed by Lagos State Tenancy Law 2011, and the Lagos State government under the judiciary are doing their very best to curtail the issue, the dispute that is between landlord and tenant. That is why the Magistrate Court of Lagos State has the exclusive jurisdiction to deal with the matter of tenancy law in Lagos State.
He added that one of the methods of curbing the issue has been resolved to the monthly payment of rent instead of annually.
I heard the Minister of Housing has said this, and I have the same preposition with him, is that instead of yearly rent, we should change it to monthly rent. That would be better. Instead of person to be paying 300 per annum, why not paying maybe 5,000 in a month or 6,000 in a month, as depends on the annual rental value.
Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Now, mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain, but it is more common and also more hard to bear. The frequent attempt to conceal mental pain increases the burden. Now, these are the words of C.S. Lewis concerning mental illnesses, which can happen to anybody just like anyone can catch cold. In this report, Noel Samson examines issue of mental health from the professional view and that of Nigerians who have witnessed those with mental health issues.
According to the World Health Organization, 1 out of 4 people suffers from different forms of mental illness, ranging from depression, anger issues, to anxiety and so on, which specifies that everyone is prone to.
So mental illness talks about the breakdown in someone's emotional and psychological makeup. It's a situation or a circumstance where an individual finds it difficult to cope with the day-to-day living. And when we're also talking about mental illnesses, it's like a continuum. Some people may be struggling with a particular type of mental illness and they are still able to function, while others may be struggling with another type of mental illness but they are unable to function.
Stigmatization is also seen to be a major issue against those with mental illness worldwide. Instead of stigmatization, experts advise love and affection should be extended to patients of mental illness.
This stigma issue is something that many that happens not just in Nigeria, it's everywhere in the world. So the stigma against mental illness is something that we all need to come together to tackle. And I see that we are still having this stigma because people don't understand what mental illness is. It's like you are saying anybody that have a headache, you should run away from them, you know.
Nigerians who have interacted with those with mental illness share their experience on how they dealt with the situation.
My experience with people with mental illness is that of compassion. Like, they evoke a sense of wanting to help them and wanting to make them feel as important to the society as possible.
This individual has this challenge. Just the same way you see someone that has convulsion and is convulsing and people gather around. It's just the same way for me, my first experience coming in contact with someone that has mental illness. I felt, okay, if we can provide the same care we provide for people who has other health-related, physical health-related issues, if we can provide the same care to this individual who has mental health issues.
Sleeping well, avoiding or low consumption of alcohol, talking out feelings, staying active, keeping in touch are some of the ways experts say one can use to prevent mental illness and be mentally healthy. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC Zamfara State Command has uncovered brothel in Gusau metropolis where underage girls and married women are harbored to engage in atrocious and immoral activities. The command's public relations officer, Iko Oche, made this known while parading the prime suspects and some of the underage girls. The NSCDC said it will not relent in ensuring that such illegal activities are rid from the state. The 45-year-old who confessed to the crime is alleged to have been harboring underage girls and married women at Ungwaza area in Gusau to engage in commercial sex.
Of the call was drawn to a particular man called Malam Isa Ibrahim, 45 years of age, at Agwangwaza behind FMC, who is operating an illegal brothel for the past 10 years in a residential building bequeathed to him by his late father, late Ibrahim Ahmed. He usually contacts ladies of between the ages of 16, 15, 14, at most 20 or 25, where he contracts them to men of different kind of caliber, and then they have illicit and immoral activities going on in that particular place where they have sexual intercourse with those ladies.
The Sokoto state government says the 55 indigenous students that returned from Ukraine will continue their education in Nigeria. The students were studying medicine and other science-related courses before the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine. They wrote an assessment examination at the library complex of Sokoto State University on Wednesday as part of the requirements for their admission into the college. The permanent secretary at the Sokoto State Scholarship Board, Bello Isa, told journalists that the state will save over 500 million naira with their enrollment in Nigeria. Bello expressed confidence that the students will pass the assessment exams and get admitted into the Nigerian university of their choice.
We are all aware that sometime precisely in March of this year, there was an unfortunate breakout of war between Russia and Ukraine. And Sokoto State government, under the leadership of His Excellency, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambuwal CFR Matawalin Sokoto, has made an effort to evacuate his own students, about 50-something of them that are studying medical in Ukraine. Since then, those students are here in Sokoto. We have been patiently waiting to see if there is any improvement in Ukraine for them to go back to their studies. unfortunately there is none. His Excellency did direct that we secure admission for these students in the vicinity of the world, particularly from Turkey, from India, from Egypt, from Sudan, and somewhere around the world. We did travel to these countries. We have negotiations, we have discussions with various institutions, and we came back home. At home here, we also penciled down 2 private institutions, Nile University Abuja, and Bez University Abuja. When we came back and reported back to His Excellency about our trips, about our discussions, we now directed that we should convey a stakeholders meeting.
The Islamic Movement of Nigeria has charged Nigerians to continue living in peace with one another as enshrined in the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. The Bauchi State chapter of the movement made the appeal during a procession to mark this year's Eid al-Mawlud. All right, now in other news, the House of Representatives investigating NNPC Limited joint venture from 1990 to 2022 has discovered serious infractions by Shell, which has been claiming capital allowance from the government without a CAFA certification from inception. Though Shell pleaded for leniency from the committee, it, however, still demands details of Shell's fixed assets at the next sitting. The report.
For granted. We are a company that complies fully with the laws of the land. The specific issue of the certificate issued is one thing, but whether we have gotten the allowances on the basis of the laws of this country, I can say, Mr. Chairman, that is what we would have done.
I know for sure that you don't have CAFA certificate. Yes, you don't have, because we asked the agency concerned in advance to give us the names of all companies. I have all the companies in Nigeria that have ever obtained CAFA certificate for their properties.
There's a statutory requirement for you to enjoy capital allowances in Nigeria, which you do not appear to be aware of having. And that is what is surprising, because it will be on record that SPDC and SNEPCO do not have the requisite certificate for enjoying capital allowances in Nigeria. SPDC and SNEPCO not have the requisite certificate for enjoying capital allowances in Nigeria. And what that will SPD.
There is a basis of statute and law that enables you make those claims. So if you would allow us, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, allow us to present what we have in this respect. I'm appealing that you withhold judgment pending what we present.
At the next hearing date, at your assets, sorry, want you to avail us the details of all the assets on the basis of which the capital allowance is claimed. Want you to avail us the details of all the assets on the basis of which the capital allowance is claimed. Want you to avail us the details of all the assets on the basis of which the capital allowance is claimed. Want you to avail us the details of all the assets on the basis of which.
We'll now take a short breather, and then when we return, the news hour continues. Please stay with us.
That's great.
Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has called for urgent collective action against the dangers and threats affecting maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea region. He is urging member states of the Gulf of Guinea Commission to ensure the effective functioning of the sub-regional body, as this is strategic to the collective security interest in the region. The President made the appeal on Thursday at a virtual meeting of heads of state and government of member states at what will be the end of his tenure as chairman of the Commission and his last summit as head of state. Kehinde Amodu reports.
The Gulf of Guinea Commission was set up in 2001 to tackle the challenges of piracy, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, and protection of marine resources. It also has a mandate to regulate irregular migration into the stretch of waters shared by Nigeria, Angola, Cameroon, Congo Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, Sao Tome and Principe, Equatorial Guinea, Ghana, and Gabon. Several factors have threatened the body since it came into existence, including the COVID-19 pandemic and, most importantly, failure of majority of member countries to pay their annual assessed contributions to the Commission.
As the continued non-payment by the majority has greatly affected the ability of the Commission to fulfill the mandate for which it was established in 2001, and is also threatening the continued existence of the Commission.
Despite the failure of member states to meet up to their responsibilities, President Buhari says Nigeria will continue to deploy significant resources towards tackling piracy in the Gulf of Guinea.
Through the Deep Blue Project, in June 2021, the government of Nigeria unveiled $195 million United States dollars worth of boats, vehicles, and aircraft to spearhead the country's fight against piracy in the Gulf of Guinea.
President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana emerged the new chairman of the Commission at the end of the summit. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Now, away from Nigeria, lawmakers in Iraq have elected Kurdish politician Abdulatif Rashid as the country's new president, paving the way for the formation of a new government and ending a year of deadlock. He replaces fellow Iraqi Kurd Barham Saleh as head of state after the two-round vote in parliament on Thursday, winning more than 160 votes against 99 for Saleh. Rashid, 78, is a British-educated engineer and was the Iraqi Minister of Water Resources from 2003 to 2010, and he has 15 days to invite a nominee from the largest parliamentary bloc to form a government. Let's now take sports updates put together by Adeni Ajishafe.
With few days to the kickoff of the 2022 Beach African Cup of Nations in Mozambique, Nigeria and Super Sand Eagles are withdrawn from the competition. After being away from beach soccer, the Nigerian side returned to the competition and was drawn in the qualifiers to face Libya, who withdrew and handed Nigeria an automatic ticket to the tournament. The African Soccer ruling body, CAF, on Wednesday conducted a draw for 7 countries and confirmed the withdrawal of Nigeria. Hosts Mozambique, Malawi and Morocco are the 3 teams in Group A, while 4 teams make up Group B, which are Senegal, Uganda, Madagascar and Egypt. The Beach Soccer African Cup of Nations will kick off on the 21st of October at the Villanclos Arena between hosts Mozambique and Malawi, who are debuting in the championship. And still on beach soccer, the coordinator of Nigerian Beach Soccer League, NBSL, Mahmoud Adeja, has opened up on the reason why the Nigerian Beach Soccer national team won't be taking part in the 2022 Beach Soccer African Cup of Nations AFCON. The development means Nigeria will miss back-to-back edition of the Continental Showpiece, having missed 2019 edition due to the development of the team following poor performance at Beach Soccer World Cup. Adejia, who doubled as the president of African Beach Soccer Union, ABSU, said the decision to opt out from the Beach AFCON was taken by the previous board, which has its reasons for the action. Nigerians' withdrawal comes few days after the second edition of the Nigerian Beach Soccer League in Birnin Kebbi, where Kada of Kaduna emerged champions. Adejia assures that hope is not lost with the Beach Soccer League, which just concluded its second edition, as the league focuses on developing beach soccer sport in Nigeria. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
With that, we wrap up the news for tonight. You can watch more via all our social media platforms. Don't forget, when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can watch us live. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.